A few months ago I did a video on reflections, and I've come back to literally the same place. This is one of my local woods. Firstly, apologies for the noise that you're probably getting in the background. There's a field just literally outside the woods, so it's probably about a mile away as the crow flies at the most, where they've got a motocross track, and at the weekends, either a Saturday or a Sunday, then have a big gathering of motorbikes there just racing around this track all day. When I did that video on reflections, I think I had a fair bit of sunlight and I could concentrate fully on the reflections. So this is that tree that I think it was one of the first images I did, and I had literally crystal clear reflections on the water there. Now when I first got here, I had a few of the ducks around this side, and because I walked down here, they obviously scarpered off to the other side, and it created these really big deep ripples of reflections. Been experimenting a little bit again on this main tree, but I don't want the whole thing. In actual fact, I've actually gone for a slightly longer lens this time from when I took the last image, so that I can actually just concentrate on more of a smaller area of the tree in the bottom there, hoping that the ducks move around again, because it was creating sort of like some really big ripples of reflections, whereas at the moment the reflections that I'm getting on here are really quite flat, but they are very ripply, so you can see the whole thing ripple away all the time. Not sure how well it shows on this camera, but I'm now getting the more deeper ripples there, and probably doesn't show probably so well with this particular camera that I'm filming on. But I've switched away from this one. I found basically, even with zooming in, there's an awful lot of branches that, sort of small branches that are poking down at the front. It just makes it look messy. I've also opted for a 16:9 crop on here, so these bigger ripples are being caused by the ducks just through the back here, which is the sort of thing that I wanted. And the breeze is certainly picking up a lot more now, and you can probably see a very sort of shallow ripple, which basically destroys the entire reflections. Great thing about when you're in the woods like this, you'd never have to go very far to find photo opportunities. And I was literally just there looking at those reflections a few moments ago, and I've turned around, just had a little look around and switched lenses, got the macro lens out, and got these new buds coming out on the tree. So these are the sort of things that we would just walk past, never look at, take any notice of. And when you do actually see these in really sort of full frame images of a close-up, the detail that's in there of that new life growing is really fascinating. These buds are still sort of like a very sort of like grey, sort of bluey purpley colour. So I think really because of the conditions that on today's walk, I'm going to be concentrating again on the smaller things, looking around what's about. Just looking around all over the place, and there's new life coming up on all of these everywhere, so I may well even come back to this one. But what I've been concentrating on over here is just similar to that one I've just looked at there. This is all one plant here, and you've got these sort of like brown shoots all coming out at the end here, but interestingly, on the thinner parts of the same sort of plant, you've got these green shoots coming out. Still haven't moved very far from where I started from, and sort of moved to really, I suppose, what is bigger subject matter, but small parts of it. Got this Douglas fir tree here, and I mean, I hate to imagine the age of this. It is big, but it's when you look close up just how all this bark is that you just don't take the notice of when you walk past these things. So I've tried a sort of close-up picture of the bark itself, and at the same time as well, you've got this common ivy growing up the side here as well. And I did initially concentrate on one of these large leaves, but right next to it there's a small leaf, and well, I've been concentrating there, and I've just been trying to bring in a little bit of warm light just to see how much of a difference that makes. So I've now actually walked around a bit further, and this was from one of my previous videos where this particular small lake I've tried photographing from both ends. But I suppose the interesting thing is, though, when you start putting your mind into doing the macro photography, when you walk around somewhere like the woods, you stop at everything. Tree trunks, you're looking to see what's growing on the tree trunks. There might be something hidden on there. To be honest, at the moment, most plants that I come along, I'm looking to see all the buds on them. And I come across this, I believe it's Scotch heather, just on the edge of the water here. What I've found interesting about this heather is all these brown pieces on here, and it's not until you look closely on a macro image with it really close up, I'm guessing that these are the remains of where it was all flowering. So it's been a very slow start to the year this year. So when I've actually been free to come out, the weather's not been right. The whole country's had a lot of bad weather in January as it is. So the opportunities have been fairly slim. So what have I got from today? It's really about trying to get back into it again. A totally different season. Obviously the fungi have all long gone now. Initially when I got here, I wasn't sure what I was even going to photograph, which is where I see the reflections to start with. But I soon decided to opt for the macro side again. Just hunting around everywhere. Wherever I walked past any plant life of some sort, I was looking for buds on the end of branches. Anything small that was not normal, that you just normally walk past. And hopefully I've got one or two decent images that I've shown on the way through. Even though it's quite calm today, every now and then there is a bit of a breeze that picks up. So especially with some of the macro photography where I was trying to do some stacked images, I either had to wait an awful long time or just to try and get the best picture I could at the time. And just coming back here, I've just got probably my final picture. There's actually a couple of very small patches of snowdrops appeared, so those are my first photographs of snowdrops. If we actually get a nice bright day, especially with this time of year with the lack of foliage everywhere, then I would certainly be tempted to take my long lens out and see what I can concentrate on some wildlife. There was a cormorant on the last lake that I was going around, and in some ways I wish I took my large lens with me, but at the same time as well, the light's not that bright, so I think I would have struggled to get an image anyway. Be interested to hear your thoughts on what's happened today, and thanks a lot for watching.